Hey everyone! Today, I want to talk about something that can completely transform your financial future. If you're like most people, payday rolls around and, poof, your money seems to vanish. That's because most of us don't have a proper paycheck routine. If you ever wondered where your paycheck goes, or why you seem to never have enough left over, this video is for you. I'm sharing practical tips that anyone can apply to start taking control of their finances. Let's take, for instance, you spend $4 on your morning coffee, $12 on a tasty lunch from a food truck, $5 on daily transport, $3 on a sweet snack, and $2 on unused subscriptions every day. You're essentially spending over $9,000 a year. This is the reality for many people. Once their paycheck arrives, the money seems to vanish. The reason? They don't have a structured paycheck routine. So in this video, I'm sharing the 5 things I did every time I got paid to save money, build wealth, and make the most of what I earned. The best part? You don't have to work any harder than you already do. They are very simple tips that if you indulge in whenever you get paid, you'd be surprised at the amount of wealth you can build. These tips help me, and if you can apply them, it'll help you achieve better results. The first step sounds easy. Stick around until the end because I'm also sharing a powerful bonus tip that can accelerate your path to financial freedom faster than you think. And trust me, you won't want to miss this one. The 5th step offers a potential for fast growth and financial breakthroughs, which would entice viewers to stick around and learn more. Step 1. Separate your wants and need. Many people find it difficult to separate their wants and needs. Let's imagine you just got your paycheck. The first thing you'll want to do is separate your wants and your needs. It sounds simple, right? But you'll be amazed at how difficult it is for a lot of people to do this. People are now very familiar with very high standard of living that it feels difficult to cut down on these little expenses. This sounds very simple and unrealistic, but looking at this in the long term, these little expenses just add up and steal your financial freedom. This is the foundation of smart money management. You might feel this doesn't apply to you, but I'd like you to try out this exercise. You'll be able to point out what is draining out your money. First, I'd like you to grab a pen, a piece of paper, and your bank statements from the last 6 months. Draw 2 columns, one for wants and one for needs. Highlight your repeated expenses. That is, the things you spend money on repeatedly every month. Skip the one-offs unless they are frequent. What are needs? This varies for different people, but generally your needs would be things like rent, utilities, insurance, and groceries. If you can live without it, it's not a need. Wants are all the fun stuff, dining out, subscriptions, and hobbies. The things you can live without that are not of higher priority. Once you've sorted everything, total up each column. Your needs total is your financial baseline. Ideally, it should be under 50% of your income, but aim for 25% if possible. If it's too high, think about cutting back. Could you move to a cheaper place? If your rent is too much, or it's beyond what you can afford at the time, you should consider it. Downsize your car. You might want to consider changing your car if it's too expensive to manage with your current paycheck. You'll be surprised at the difference these little changes can make. And if cutting back isn't an option, focus on increasing your income through a promotion or side hustle. Remember that you should be earning more than you're saving. Making your needs cost less than 25% seems overstretched, but you can just put yourself up to a test as a challenge to do so. Make the 25% rule a target you're working towards. For your wants, add them all up and subtract from your wage. This should be below 25% of your paycheck. We need a decent amount of money left for the next steps. We'll be getting into that'll get you ahead. Step 2. Build your emergency fund. After you've covered your basics, it's time to save for emergencies. Allocate 20% of your paycheck into a high-interest savings account. Choose a separate bank from your everyday account to avoid temptation. You don't want to spend this money you have an emergency. The whole purpose of an emergency savings account is to serve as a safety net you can access when unexpected situations arise. It's not designed to grow your wealth, so locking it away for a fixed period completely defeats the purpose. I can't stress enough how essential it is to have this financial cushion. Yes, you've probably heard this advice countless times, but that's because it works. Life is unpredictable, and at some point, you'll face a challenge. This financial buffer will be there when you need it most. Imagine you got sick and couldn't work, or your car broke down. With an emergency fund in place, you'll be able to handle these situations without unnecessary stress. However, it's crucial to remember this money is strictly for serious situations, not for casual spending like grabbing an extra beer when you're running low on cash or going shopping with the girls. It's concerning that, as of May 2023, 1 in 5 Americans have no emergency savings at all. If a crisis hit, they'd have no choice but to rely on loans, often leading to high-interest debt that can make their financial situation even worse. So, how much should you save? Ideally, your emergency fund should cover 3 to 5 months of essential living expenses. If possible, aim for 6 months for even greater security. Once you consistently set aside 20% of your paycheck and reach this target, you can start focusing on other financial goals. Once you put aside your 20%, you can allocate some money to the next places that we'll be looking at. Step 3. Pay down high-interest debt. The next place you'd want to put some money is where you'd get a guaranteed return on investment. Here's where you'll see guaranteed returns. High-interest debt, like credit cards, is like a parasite draining your wealth. There are 2 widely used strategies to pay down debt effectively: the avalanche method and the snowball method. The avalanche method is the most logical approach since it focuses on minimizing interest payments. You start by paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you have 3 debts. Debt A, a credit card balance of $6,000 with a 22% interest rate. Debt B, a personal loan from a friend for $2,000 with no interest. Debt C, a student loan of $3,500 with a 12% interest rate. If you commit $600 monthly towards debt repayment using the avalanche method, all payments would initially go towards debt A since it has the highest interest rate. It would take roughly 12 months to clear and cost you around $700 in interest. Next, you'd move on to debt C, paying $600 monthly, which would take about 6 months and result in approximately $140 in interest. Finally, you'd tackle debt B, which would take around 4 months with no interest charges. By using the avalanche method, you would be debt-free in 22 months, paying approximately $840 in total interest. This method saves you time and money compared to the snowball method. Once your debt is gone, you'll have more money to invest. The snowball method focuses more on psychological motivation by tackling the smallest debts first, giving you quicker wins. Using the same debts, the snowball method would have you pay off debt B first, taking 4 months with no interest. Then debt C, taking around 6 months with about $140 in interest. Lastly, debt A, which would take roughly 14 months and cost around $1,200 in interest. With the snowball method, you'd be debt-free in 24 months and end up paying about $1,340 in interest, 2 months longer and $500 more than the avalanche method. While the avalanche method is mathematically better, the snowball method can be more motivating for those who need quicker victories to stay committed. Choose the approach that best fits your mindset and goals. Once you've built your safety net and paid off high-interest debt, it's time to focus on wealth building. That's where a tax-advantaged investment account comes in. Step 4. Invest in tax-advantaged accounts. Think about it. Your paycheck gets taxed before you even see it. Shop for groceries, sales tax, own a home, property tax. Even when your investments grow, capital gains tax can take a chunk out of your profits. While I can't help you avoid most of these, there's a smart, legal way to avoid capital gains tax on your investments. If you're in the UK, look into a stocks and shares ISA. If you're in the US, the equivalent is a Roth IRA. These accounts let you grow your money without worrying about taxes on your investment profits. If I were you, I'd consider putting 30 to 40% of your remaining paycheck into one of these accounts and investing it in a low-cost index fund, like the S&P 500. Historically, this approach has delivered an average return of 8 to 10% annually, completely tax-free. Let's break it down. If you invested $300 per month and earn an average 8% return, in 40 years you'd have around $1.1 million, tax-free. Don't just take my word for it. Try a compound interest calculator and see for yourself. Sure, it's a slow game, but consistency is the key. The market can go up and down, so it's crucial to understand the risks. But over time, history has shown that patience and persistence win. Step 5. Take calculated risks. The 5th place you want to put your money is in high-risk, high-reward opportunities. Now, this approach isn't for everyone. If you're comfortable playing the long game and waiting years to hit your first million, that's perfectly fine. Most people you'll find online will either teach you the slow lane of wealth building, like long-term investing, or the fast lane, which involves riskier plays with higher potential rewards. Personally, I've walked both paths and found balance somewhere in the middle. If I were you, I'd consider putting 5 to 10% of your paycheck towards launching a side hustle or even a full-scale business. You might think that's not enough and feel tempted to skip investing altogether to go all in, but I believe smaller budgets can actually work to your advantage. When you have limited resources, you're forced to think more creatively and find market gaps others overlook. With the final 5%, I'd go even riskier. Cryptocurrency. It's a volatile space but continues to gain global attention. But let's be clear, crypto is high risk. Prices can skyrocket or crash overnight, and you should only invest what you're fully prepared to lose. And there you have it, my 5-step paycheck routine to help you save, grow your wealth, and achieve financial freedom. Remember, the goal isn't to deprive yourself, but to make smarter choices with your money. Let me know in the comments which step you're going to start with. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could use a little financial guidance. See you next time.